That's us recording.
Okay. Do we do 10?
No, we don't.
We
Okay,
don't,
Ben, what did you
Yes.
used to do for a job?
What did I do for a job?
What did you used to
I,
do for a job?
I was a journalist, a
Right.
reporter.
And what kind of journalist? I nearly gave the game away.
I can see where this is going. I was a broadcast journalist.
Oh. So what is it about an audiovisual telephone call that phases you quite as much as this?
I think it's because it's my home and I'm sort of a bit, I don't know, private and proprietorial about that sort of stuff.
So private, you can't turn up to the Zoom call. I was sitting in the Zoom party on my own.
Have you actually had a Zoom party?
It was a party for one.
But isn't a Zoom party?
I also had Christmas baubles hanging off my ears. I took them off. The lipstick was bright red, all gone now.
Oh,
It's
no.
over.
Did you have a little...
Christmas is over.
Did you have a Santa hat on?
No, I had an elf one. Right.
Excellent.
What we're going to do is, let me explain to everyone. Hello, everyone. Really lovely to see you. Not so lovely, maybe, to be in a non-party room, which someone has managed to kill the festive spirit. We're going to do a quiz. And we've done this quiz before because someone couldn't manage to press record again. So what we're going to do is do some oldies and maybe we've forgotten, and I've cooked up a couple of new ones.
Oh, have you? That's very clever.
Well, it wasn't that clever. It was just all about our podcast, which I edit, so that's fine. Okay, right.
So do you want me to go first?
It's Christmas and it's quiz time with Mitzi. I still haven't opened the right... Oh, this is it. I won't tell you what the document is called that I use for this kind of paraphernalia. Oh my goodness.
Now I see an array of documents that all have names that sound very bitter and mean something to you.
Yeah, only bitter towards you though, not to anyone else.
Hey,
okay. Are you ready? Are you ready to go down? I'm starting first then.
Oh
no, this one's for you. See if you remember it again. Which woman's body was found in the snow in Bristol on Christmas Day 2010, in which the media were prosecuted for framing an eccentric landlord?
Yes, well, I remember bits of this, and I certainly remember the story. It was a huge story at the time. And although I didn't go and cover it from Bristol, I did some coverage of it from London, because I was working over Christmas that year, I think, or parts. I always used to work Boxing Day. I remember the landlord's name was Christopher Jeffries, and he ended up, I think, suing lots of newspapers because I think he looked a little bit eccentric. He had slightly crazy-looking hair, and I think the press kind of decided, oh right, it's the weirdo landlord, what done it? However wrong that was, they made that decision. And a lot of the newspaper coverage was very, slyly suggesting. I mean, things like oddball landlord returns to the murder scene and stuff. And I mean, without saying it in so many words, they were clearly suggesting, that he would be the police's prime suspect. He sued and won because it turns out it wasn't him at all. But the young woman who was murdered was Joanna Yates. And that's my answer.
Is that the answer which you decided that the questions went on too long last time? Is that the shortened version?
That's the shortened version, but I don't remember the name of the killer, and you're going to tell me that.
Oh, Vincent Tobacco.
Tobacco, that's it. Vincent Tobacco.
Okay, your go.
Vincent Tobacconist. Really.
Before we all fall asleep.
Okay, here's my first question to you, Victoria, and of course to anybody listening in. Name a famous baddie who died of COVID. And there are two potential answers to this, and they're both kind of baddies, but in different ways.
Okay. Okay, I'll give my answer. I've already done this, so I know what the answer is. And I knew it first time. Maybe that's more relevant. I didn't know it straight off the bat, actually. But there is a new documentary, I think, about him. There's certainly a documentary about him on Netflix at the moment, which is amazing, and basically saying that, have you heard of it, Ben?
No.
It's saying that, well, this will help you to help you conclude who it is, that the women weren't necessarily prostitutes who he was killing. It was all over the papers, and that they were, and he just generally killed women. So his name is Peter Sutcliffe.
Correct. The other baddie that I was talking about was a fictional baddie from the Star Wars films. Dave Prowse, who's the actor who played Darth Vader, who was the baddie in Star Wars, and he died.
I didn't say that last time, so.
If you think of deaths from COVID, the other strikingly high mortality rate is among 70s comedians. You had Bobby Ball, Eddie Large, and Tim Brooke Taylor all died of COVID.
Well, that's going to follow, isn't it? Because they're all old.
Well, maybe, but I mean, talking of, you know, two of them were part of double acts, which means the other half of the double act is still alive. So you've got Tommy Cannon left over and Sid Little, which, I mean, if they got together to sort of like, you know, carry on, it would be Little Cannon, which doesn't quite have the same ring, I don't feel.
Right. What is a dirty Sanchez?
What is a dirty?
I also have to say, it was in our episode 30 in October, if you want to reference that.
Well, I think I'm going to answer this by saying that Dirty Sanchez was the nickname we gave to Scottish MP Margaret Ferrier, who travelled around the country having had a COVID test when she shouldn't have done. She travelled down for her constituency in Scotland, where she visited a leisure centre and stood by a swimming pool. She then went to the House of Parliament. She spoke in the House of Commons. She had dinner with another Scottish MP, and then went back to Scotland, having had a COVID test because she was apparently suffering symptoms, which of course is against all the rules. Exactly what a dirty Sanchez is, I believe it's a term that originates in pornography. And it's when...
Oh, is it in pornography? Can't you just do it in the privacy of your own, comfort of your own bedroom?
Well, if you want to be Dirty Sanchez, I'm sure you can, but it's not something I've ever tried.
I try not to be.
Clearly, I'm very purient when it comes to Sanchez, dirty or otherwise.
The bones of it.
To have a Dirty Sanchez, do you have to be wearing your Mexican lipstick?
I think it gives you Mexican lipstick, doesn't it?
Not quite. It adds an extra frisson, I think.
So what is it, Ben?
A Dirty Sanchez is when a male adult performer impales a lucky lady adult performer in the anus, and upon withdrawing his his tool, he discovers that it may have been slightly soiled, at which point the lucky lady has to then lick it off.
I think we might be on a different page with that. I always thought it was something else.
What do you think Dirty Sanchez is then?
I don't know, I'm a bit loath to looking it up here.
Did you not look? I mean, you surely know the answer.
Yeah, I thought it was something different.
Okay, what did you think it was?
I thought it was like felching.
Felching. Maybe it is then, I don't know.
Oh, it's talking about it being a British stunt show. Urban Dictionary. It's films involving arse to mouth action.
Okay, which is what I kind of said, isn't it?
No, because you said all about other stuff going on. That was probably from your own little brain.
What do you think arse to mouth involves?
You just spelled it out.
Okay, so
when you talked about sex, you were talking about sex.
Well, porn performers, yeah, that's what arse to mouth is. It's porn performers where a man has anal sex with a woman and then takes his penis out.
No anal sex involved. You can have a Dirty Sanchez without anal sex.
How?
Because you can just felch.
That's not Dirty Sanchez, that's felching. Go to Urban Dictionary and read the definition.
But this is the good bit. It describes the act of leaving a shit moustache on a partner's face. Oh, you are right. I read the next bit. Listen. by taking your cock out of her ass and putting it in her mouth without wiping it off first. I honestly didn't know that sex needed to be present for a Dirty Sanchez to happen, but now I know what Margaret Ferrier's really been up to.
But did you not know that? I thought you knew.
My own sword.
Right then. Okay, is it my turn to ask a question?
Oh, that was really difficult.
Okay. Okay, here's which is on a typical night, actually no, in a typical year of making and delivering presents, how many laws or regulations do you think Santa breaks?
I thought this was name a certain amount of laws.
Yeah, okay. And name them. Okay, how many and name them?
Okay, there was drink slaying.
Drunk slaying.
Drunk in charge of a sleigh.
Drunk in charge of a carriage, yes, go on. Assuming he's had a glass of port at every house he stops at, or sherry or whatever.
Yeah, and you said speeding.
Speeding? Yeah, well, if he's going to get around the whole world in one night.
How many do you want?
I'm thinking there are a couple of others that you haven't mentioned yet. You've got speeding, you've got drink driving.
Animal cruelty.
Yeah. Why is there animal cruelty?
Because he gives all the reindeer Dirty Sanchez's.
The Dirty Rudolph.
Dirty Ringdolph.
Dirty Blitzen.
Okay,
no,
because give me the rest of them.
Okay, there's only one more, and there's two more actually. One is if he's going to find out which children are naughty and nice, the chances are that's going to break GDPR regulations.
Oh, yeah.
And if he's getting the elves to make presents for everybody in the run to Christmas, to make that many, they're going to have to work round the clock, which is going to break working time directives.
Oh, who cares about that these days? We're not in Europe, so we're fine.
Well, I suppose he's not in Europe, he's in Lapland, isn't he? On the North Pole.
Oh. Well, I've always heard slavery was fine there.
Right, go on.
The glasses clean. There's some kind of sticky substance on them. Right. Which ones? Oh, yes. Which nicknames have we had on this programme right here, YDLMF, for following people? Amber Heard, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Jeffrey Epstein, and criminal Delroy Grant. Okay,
so I'm going to start with the last one first. The last one, Delroy Grant, was known as the Night Stalker. Who was the other ones?
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Who was the first one you gave me?
Amber Heard.
Oh, Amber Heard was Amber Turd because of the allegation that she left a big poo in the bed, the marital bed.
Yep, a human poo, not a boo poo, an Amber Turd. Boo's her dog, right? Oh, that goes on to the next. Oh, God, I spoiled the next question. Okay, go
on. Then Ghislaine Maxwell, we decided to call Ghislaine Maxwell because that seems to be her stock in trade.
Okay, go on to what you called the other one and then fit the nicknames together.
Oh, and then Jeffrey Epstein was Jazzy Jeff. So we've got Jazzy Jeff and Jizzy Rascal.
We've done them a favour.
What?
Seriously, we've done them a favour. She can abscond with a really stylish name now.
Jizzy Rascal. Jizzy Rascal. Jizzy Rascals. Oh my God, put out an APB for Jizzy Rascal. She's breaking for the border. Sanchez.
Yeah, well, we were going to talk more about that. Either way, you'll go.
Okay. Well, let's stick with the Night Stalker. Who famously caught the Night Stalker and how? Was a guest on the show.
Do we need to know his nickname?
I don't know if he has a nickname. We could make one up.
Don't you remember his nickname?
Go on.
Colin Sutton?
Yeah, that's right. DCI Colin Sutton, that's correct. That's the answer.
What did we call him?
Colon?
He etched up as colon.
How did he
He's really nice. I don't mean that in a horrible way.
connected.
I mean, he's a lovely colon.
Hopefully, you're having back on when his program is ready to transmit.
Not if I'm calling him things like that.
I'm sure. Colin's got a great sense of humour. He won't mind at all.
So yes, how did he go? They flooded the streets with cops because they found out what area they thought he was operating in, and then the first time he got away because he was a cricketer and he could run well, and the second time nabbed him.
Absolutely right. Yeah, that's correct. Colin looked at where he sort of struck and thought, there's a real pattern here. There's clearly an area that he likes to frequent, and the thing is, for a couple of weeks, nothing happened. They had all these cops in the streets and there was no sign of him. And I remember Colin telling us that he got really, really quite nervous that this is going to be a great big waste of money. But then they struck gold, so to speak, and they caught him. So well done, Colin.
And I remember him recounting a cordial conversation that they had about cricket when they met for the first time.
Yeah.
And he did
very polite.
Things to especially old people. It was hideous, that.
Yeah. Okay, your question now.
Ooh. Oh, let's get, okay, just for a bonus point on the nicknames one, what are the names of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard? By the way, go and have a listen to the Nick Wallace interview, because it's kind of coming to the time of year where we're not going to do an episode next week, and you've got time to kind of kick back and laugh again at our funny stuff. Have a listen through to that. Where was it? It was July, August. So look back at that episode. What are the names of their dogs?
Oh, the dog. I was going to say, I can't remember Johnny Depp's nickname, but the names of the dog were Boo and Pistol.
Yep. But can I ask a real question?
Yeah.
Well, where in the world was the dogging story that we covered back in? Actually, we've had an email about the dogging story.
Yeah, I want to talk about that in a minute.
I think it must have been. It was one of our first episodes, and then we didn't stop talking about dogging for about 3 months at the beginning. So that would have been about May. Where was it?
You wouldn't stop talking about dogging.
I have a soft spot for dogging.
Isn't that? It's your it's near you, isn't it? It's in something Wood, is it? Haddon Wood.
Oh, is it actually? It's Holden. But
Holden.
I don't know if that's Holden Wood. I think you sort of made up that it was in the woods because where you go, your dogging place is in the woods.
Okay, I made up that it's in. Well, presumably it's somewhere discreet. It's not like in the middle of a housing estate, is it?
It was where a whole load of the story was tied into the fact that the judge was concerned about the people in the story being off-grid. No, he was concerned about them interrupting the doggers. And you never know what you might see or something. Do you remember that? Because you picked up on that.
People living off the grid were getting very fed up with all the dogs going there and thinking that it's going to spoil their life.
Sorry, say again?
Is it my turn for another question?
No, say that about people living off the grid because it broke up.
My recollection of that story was that the complaint was made by people living off the grid who were worried doggers were going to come and sort of spoil their isolation.
Oh no, but don't you remember the judge's comments in it? That the judge said, you may see things you shouldn't be seeing, as if it was the right of the doggers to be swinging their private parts around in public. And you were like, what? That's the wrong way around.
Yeah.
As if it was the off-grid people who were the dirty scumbags and it was perfectly okay for judges to dog. Oh, now there's a point.
Okay, so we've talked, this is my next question, this is my last question.
Yes.
So we've talked about nicknames that we've got for people, because you asked me a question about nicknames. So I'm going to ask you a question now about a name, but it's not a nickname, it's a name that somebody has taken. And I'm going to give you a clue. This person, I'm going to say their name in the way that they might say it, okay?
Yep.
So who is Yusuf Rahim?
I got him confused with another criminal.
Somebody with a very high-pitched voice.
Do you think he really... Hang on, you've heard him. Does he really sound like that?
Not quite. I mean, that was exaggerated for comic effect.
How does he sound? Do some proper acting.
Okay, it was, I felt like I was fighting for my life.
Oh, very good.
Thank you.
Okay, well, he's cropped up a couple of times in our podcast, hasn't he?
Yeah, he certainly has.
Like
well, Colin
Penny.
That is the one that Colin Sutton called.
Oh, yeah. And he definitely liked Delroy more than he liked Yusuf. Oh, yes. Or Levi.
Levi, that's right. Levi.
That's my head there for a second.
Levi.
Belfield.
Very good. Very good.
Didn't you cover Millie Dowler?
Yes, I did quite a lot of work on the Millie Dowler, both the disappearance and the subsequent trial of Levi Belfield. And also I did the trials of Belfield when he was accused of murdering Amelie Delagrange, Marcia McDonnell, and attempting to murder Kate Sheedy.
And how dare it mess up his life? You said that Levi Belfield in court said it messed up his life.
No, he said, I'm fighting for my life here. And Colin told that was the moment when Belfield said, I'm fighting for my life, when he was being cross-examined. Colin Sutton said that was the moment. He looked over at the jurors, and saw them go like that. And suddenly they clearly in their minds made that kind of correlation between here's Belfield whinging that he's fighting for his life, and yet that's exactly what he made those poor, girls do, Amelie, Marcia, and of course Millie. So that was, I think, the moment when the penny dropped for the jury, and from then on it was all downhill for Levi Belfield. There was no way he was getting other than the conviction.
Hey guys, when do you think is going to be the moment that the penny drops for Ben Ando?
The penny dropped a long time ago.
I'm just being sarcastic about the fact that he is making out that this is ruining his life when he's been banging women on the head with hammers for God knows how long.
Exactly.
Honestly, what an inconvenience.
It was outrageous, I agree with you. Yeah. Totally.
It was outrageous. Let me see if I've got one more juicy question for you.
Ask me the
my poor starving daughter might get some food.
Before you ask the question, can I just say I'm a little bit hurt that you haven't commented on my Christmas jumper that I put on specially.
Oh, good. I was really hurt that you left me hanging.
I'll ask the last question.
You didn't comment on my Christmassy dress.
Oh, it's lovely and you look radiant. I can't really see much of it. All I can see is shoulder and head.
Yeah, well, see much of that.
How many questions have you got? How many more questions are there for me? 2 or just one?
Oh, double chin. I did a double chin. Stop. Right.
How many casts in total? Is it 4?
Hang on. I thought it was 2, but it's actually just 1.
Go on, then ask me the last question.
Okay. Who is the famous criminologist, famous friend of the podcast criminologist we had as our guest in June, who's also known as the investigator?
Yes, that was brilliant, actually. I really enjoyed speaking to him. It was really, really interesting. Very much associated with coverage of the Maddie McCann disappearance.
One of the first journalists on the scene in Porto de Luz? Praia de Luz.
Yeah. Mark Williams Thomas.
Mark Williams Thomas. I just realised that you can see my paint and poet
tribute
portrait.
Oh, that's nice. That's lovely.
Look, crop to the background.
Oh, that's lovely. Can I talk about some listener interaction?
Yeah, it's supposed to be in a frame. I think this must be something to do with my daughter. Right. Yeah.
We received a lovely, lovely email from a lady called Frances, and I thought it was really nice what she said, actually. She said she likes listening to our podcast, but she goes out on long walks with her dog that keep her sane. And she also has got some interesting things to say about the Southwest, which is where she's from, although apparently she now lives in Edinburgh. She talked about Jill Dando a little bit, being a very famous Southwest England newsreader, and a few other things as well. I was
Oh
very
yes,
nice with her.
this is an email which got buried, didn't it? So we're sorry about that. It's been a little while ago, but it was really good. Thank you for
Yeah,
writing in. We loved that because I also love the Holden dogging link.
yeah, that's right.
I can't believe you're going out with your babies and see all the married men. I wanted to, when I was reading that bit, and you told me that they were all married, and I thought, oh, how do you know you asking them? But I've realised that you just saw the wedding rings. What an up close. Next time, bring a camera. See if you can get any dirty Sanchez footage.
There you go, Francis. There's your challenge. Get your friend next time she goes to dogging spots to take a camera with her.
But we're very glad you enjoy our podcast. As are
Yeah.
we should probably say a little hello to Ian and to Big Bear and Glamorous News Lady and all the people, all the podcasters as well. We're going to get on it on the podcast wagon next year to do some collaborations. We've got some things that we're talking about. With that festive quiz over, I think that's going to be a wrap for this visual one. But I'm going to do a bit more audio myself on this one if I get a moment. So you have a couple of stories.
And just what I want to say is that we're taking a break next weekend. We're not going to be on next week. We're taking a break next time. So we won't be back until the new year. That's right, isn't it, Victoria?
Yes, until the 4th or 5th that Tuesday. And do you know one? Yeah, I was going to say one more thing. That.
What, one more thing.
You really deserve one of those at the moment.
Go on. Tell me one more thing.
Ben was banging on about being middle-aged in our last edition podcast, and I wanted to know how old you think middle-aged is, because according to Ben, he's going to live to about 120.
Oh, no, being middle-aged just goes older the older you get. You never quite want to face up to the idea that you've become old.
I think you're making a point by going on about being middle-aged. It's drawing attention to the fact that you're not.
I think it's reasonably accepted that old age doesn't start until at least you retire, which is at what, 65? So nobody's going to get old until they're at 65.
You're really old at 65, though. I mean, like, I'm not saying you look old or anything, or you're like really falling apart, but that is an old person age. If you're 65, you can't say you're young. That's properly old.
No, yeah, as I was saying, 65 is an old person age. But when you're in your mid-50s, I don't think you're old. I think you're in middle age still. Okay, I think 40s and 50s are middle age, 60s and up is old age, 30s and below is young. How about that?
There's my case.
That is your case. Is that it? Is that your case?
Yeah. I just had to prove that. Us on the postcard, our email. I don't know if I can work out how to do captions along the bottom, but you didn't let me finish podcast@gmail.com.
40s, 50s is middle, and 60s, 70s and up is old. So I've still got several years left of being middle-aged.
So you're grouping yourself in with me in 40s and 50s?
I suppose I am, yeah.
You
We're both
are considerably older than me.
decade older than you, but we're both middle-aged.
Although I'm starting to tick a different box.
Hang on, are you trying to claim that you're still young? That you're still a spring chicken?
Not like you are.
I'm not trying to claim that.
By
That's what I'm
shoving
saying.
yourself into the middle-aged bracket.
No, I've said, yeah, I am, but I am middle-aged. There's no way anybody would say I'm not middle-aged. But you seem to
That's
be
not the issue. The fact is you're not middle-aged, you're old-aged.
No, I'm not.
You're on the boundary. You're like the when I did the BBC body fat quiz, I was on the boundary of obese.
No way.
What?
No way. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I don't know. Anyway.
Happy holidays, everybody. And tell us whether you want to see us more. Because Ben wasn't sure about it, and I'm not sure about him.
No, I'm not sure about me. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Happy Christmas. Happy New Year. See you in the new one.